I don't know anything about coding, building software. I'm a very not technical person, but I know how to use a computer. I know how to use AI in the way that I know how to chat with it. I hear all these people online talking about Claude Code and ChatGPT's Codex to actually build software, but I have no idea how to use it. Up until a few days ago, I came out to France and my sister's boyfriend really knows a lot about this. And I started really picking his brain. I said, hey, I want to build software for my business. I just have no idea where to even start. And he started saying a lot of things to me, but I didn't really fully understand or grasp it until we sat down together and he actually helped me. And so for the next 9 or 10 hours while I'm on this plane ride, I'm going to automate a ton of my business and I'm going to show you what I've already done. And then I'm going to actually do it with you and show you how simple it is. You could know nothing about building software, AI coding. You can know nothing about vibe coding or any of that stuff. And like I was 72 hours ago, and I'm going to show you how I've come from that to now. I'm not an expert, but I'm definitely building some pretty incredible software to like automate my entire business, I would say, very soon. So I'm going to break this down. I'm going to share my screen also to show you. Basically, when you think about building something, the best way to start is to literally go into Claude or ChatGPT, like just the normal chatting. And you should see my screen here. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen, I'm gonna show this to you. So basically all you do is you just go to Claude or ChatGPT, I'm in Claude right now, and you just tell it this one prompt. The prompt that we used here is I will describe software applications that I wanna build and I wanna create, and I want you to create a plan.md, prd.md, and architecture.md file to comprehensively map out and clarify what I'm building for my AI agents. You are the CTO and treat me as a non-technical founder. Ask lots of questions until you have total understanding of scope and every detail needed, then do it. You can see I don't even have to be perfect here. Think in first principles for decision making and choose the simplest solutions. Do not complicate or choose routes that is over-engineered for no reason. Question all the requirements and delete everything that's not critical. So I said this to Claude and it said, got it, CTO hat on, ready to go. Basically, what kind of software do you want to build? And I wanted to build a software that basically is like a dashboard for my business. It has all the clients, tons of different things, but also that creates scripts and uses AI to actually create scripts and content ideas for my clients. And so that's what I told it. I said what kind of content I want to create, and it said round one, just started asking me tons of questions. And I just went back and forth, answering questions, going back and forth as much as I possibly could, giving examples of things. The more detail, the better. Okay, that's what I did. Then what happened, I'm gonna just scroll down here after a while, what happened is it created these three files, the plan.md file, prd.md file, and then the architecture.md file. What you do is you literally just download these, you put them on your computer, and I'm gonna show you right now. You can see right here, I put them, don't worry about all this stuff, I'll show you this in a second, but I just put them in a folder called instructions. So I created a main folder on my desktop, and then I create a folder called instructions, and inside I put those three files. That's it, okay? Now, what I did is you'll wanna make sure you have, I use Codex in this example, which is ChatGPT's version of Claude Code. I open up Codex, and basically, you literally just start a new chat. And over here, you wanna create what's called a project. So when you create add new project, you can actually add that folder that I just showed you, okay? And you hit open. When you do this, then you can chat with it and say, hey, comprehensively understand everything that is in the instructions in this folder. And what you can do is you can go right here to this plus button, you can hit plan mode. So you can just, it's not gonna do anything or implement anything, it's just gonna plan. And you do it, it creates this entire plan and then it says, do you wanna implement? You're like, sure, implement. And it starts writing a ton of code. So with that said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what I built, and then from there, I'm gonna actually start building new stuff with you. So, okay, so one thing that I wanted to build was basically like a Calendly version of a schedule booker or event booker that was for my clients to book filming sessions, but it had allowances. It's like this client only gets one per month, this client gets two per month. If they book more than that, it charges them, like all of that stuff. So I started with that. I told it what I wanted to build in Claude, and then I brought those files over to Codex and started building it. And what happens is it can actually run the like basically the software locally on your computer, and it's called localhost. Okay, so it'll tell you how to access this. It'll just say, oh, go to localhost, and boom, there you are. So I'm going to show you what we created. So localhost, it says book a filming session, and then it asks for the name. This is all stuff that I had it create. So as I was going through anything that I want changed, I just said to Codex, hey, I want this like this. You can speak to it like a human. And as you speak to it, it actually starts writing code and implementing that for you. So here, let's just say I type in myself and I type in my email. By the way, this is an old email. I continue. What's going to happen is it's going to look inside of a database, and a database is where all your information is stored. And then it's going to pull the client profile. It's going to find this client, and then it's going to allow them to book a filming session. So you can see here, as an example, one of the problems that occurred for me is when you pick a date on the calendar, right when I clicked it, the dates became small, but they were all overlapping. So I took a screenshot of it, I put it into Codex, I said, hey, they're all overlapping, can you fix it? And it's like, sure, and it fixed it, which is really awesome. So what you can really do is you can use Codex or Claude Code as a way to actually troubleshoot the user interface, change things around. Like you're like, oh, I want to change these words. You can totally do that super easily. And I'll show you that here soon. But you want to use the chat feature in Claude or ChatGPT to actually create the plans. So I would say 90% of you building your software is in the planning stage, 10% is in the implementation stage. So if you don't plan properly, the implementation won't work, okay? So I built all this out already where someone can pick a time. They also can see their upcoming filming sessions where they can change or cancel them. They can confirm the booking, and this is all connected into my Google Calendar. But I said, wait, I want a way that I can change these settings. And so I created a page called admin. So when you go to admin, there's a login, and right here, you can go to calendar settings. And what it'll do is it'll pull up the calendar that it's currently booking to on my Google Calendar, all the conflict counters that it checks for conflicts on, just like Calendly, and then also the blackout dates or blackout dates that I want to black out. So I could say, hey, May 27th, I just want to black out. I want to do something on the day. I don't want anyone to be able to book with me. Right when I click on it, boom, it's blacked out, which is so cool. Availability I can do start times for my availability. So I don't want people to book at 2 o'clock. I only want people to book at 1 o'clock or 9 o'clock. That's so cool. Buffer times, event titles, all the settings I just implemented right into this settings page, okay? And then I can click on even a client, and I can give them allowances. How many monthly short form content sessions do they have, long form? And I can always increase this and change things at any time. So the user interface is really important, because then my assistant or people on our team can actually make changes to these rather than me having to go into Codex and tell it to make changes. Now you might say, hey Hunter, where is all of this information stored? It's not stored in the software, it's actually stored in what's called a database. I use a software or a website called Supabase. All this stuff is pretty much free. The only thing you have to pay for is like ChatGPT, which you usually have to pay at least $100 a month for that. That's what I pay. And I can click in Supabase, and all of my stuff is actually right in here in these tables. So I have all of this stuff, and it's literally storing this information as text right in here. And then the software is pulling it from there, okay? So that's how that works. And then I was like, hey, I want to build like a CRM. So I started building a CRM, and it has the number of clients and payments that have been made. And I connected that into our payment database. We had Stripe, and then we now have Fanbases. So I connected all of that. I haven't built out leads yet. And then I built out an entire kind of like financial dashboard, which will show like expected revenue for the month, received revenue based on payments that have already come in, the outstanding amounts, and it'll automatically update when payments do come in. So it's all automated. I don't have to like manually go in and update this, which is so cool. And also you might be like, how do you make the design so pretty? Honestly, it just automatically did this. So I didn't do anything, change anything. It built all this out for me, which is like so cool. Now, the way that you actually get this website basically hosted, I use a software called Netlify. Netlify, it's basically like, it just pushes it out onto a domain, which is really cool. And you can tell it, you don't have to set all this up. You can literally tell Codex or Claude Code to do this all for you, which is so cool. So a couple of things that I want to build out over the next little bit, because I'm on this flight for another 9 hours, is I really want to spend some time building out. I'm going to show you how we plan, by the way. So let's say we come back here. I can actually say to it, I can go into the planning stage, which is plus, and then plan mode. And I can say, tell me where we're at and what is next. Now what it's going to do is it's thinking about creating a plan, and it's going to, sometimes this can take some time. Like I've had times, as you can see here, look, it worked for 10 minutes. Like I asked it something, it worked for 10 minutes. Or this one worked for 24 seconds. Or this one worked for 11 minutes. So usually it'll take you 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes every time you have a request. So you can, there's a lot that you can do, but it does take a little bit of time. And so I recommend always just having tasks running while you're working on things. Just always have tasks running, so it's always building something. Okay, so right now, as you can see, it totally planned this out. So where we're at right now, what's completed: the CRM, financials, calendar settings, client portal, sign out, the CRM, what it has, financials, what it has. We matched Stripe data into here. What still needs attention: commit. So what it means by commit is you can actually, it's basically saving your progress. We can literally tell it commit and it'll automatically do it right over here, commit. So it's recommending to clean up the financials user experience. So financials is functional now, but it can become much more CEO useful if it includes client lifetime value table, top clients by revenue, monthly revenue trend, unpaid attention. So one thing with building these softwares, you can get really nitty gritty on what you're building, and you can choose either to build the things that are really going to help your business or the things that are just nice to have. I recommend always starting with things that are actually going to get you to a place of saving your time, making you more money, and then focusing on the nice to haves when you have the time for that. So I try to always focus on that. Like building a calendar thing is not absolutely necessary, but I got excited the other day and I'm like, okay, let me just work on this. But right now I really want to focus on the things that I absolutely need. The number one thing that I need right now is I need to implement what I was building when it comes to the scripting and content writing for clients. That is a huge time saver that would help our business a lot. So right now, obviously we built this dashboard in CRM and financials and calendar settings, but I want to add another tab that's like something called like content generation. So because I already have that plan.md file and all those things, instructions for what I created, we're actually just going to bring that information over. So let me see here. So because I already kind of started on the other side when it comes to the content creation generator, I'm just gonna actually tell it to give me a comprehensive plan.md, prd.md, and architecture.md file of where we're at and the next phases for this. The reason I want this is because I want to take these and then I want to bring them over to my other project, which is this project, because then I can have everything in one place. I want everything in one dashboard and it all to kind of like look seamless and look similar. So once I have this, I can literally just bring it over, and I'll show you that here in a moment. I have 9 hours left on this flight, and I probably got 30 minutes of sleep last night. Okay, so now that it created these MD files, we're just gonna open them in Finder so we can see them right here. I'm gonna actually, let's see, I'm gonna go back to the one I'm building, and I'm actually gonna just drag these over here. Let's see, I'm just gonna talk to it. Use these .md files to comprehensively understand a new tab that I want to add to the dashboard, which would be content generator. And I want it for our team to be able to generate content ideas for our clients on demand using AI, plan out the phases of exactly how we're going to implement this and what we will start with. And because we are in the planning stages here, or planning mode, we can just go ahead and send that. The best thing about this is, like, I don't really understand a lot of the stuff it says, and you can just ask it, say, hey, I don't understand that. Can you break that down in simpler terms? You don't have to know anything about the code. You can just talk to it like a normal AI or human, and it'll just understand. Like, I could say, oh, this or this isn't working, and it'll troubleshoot and find the issue, and then it solves it. Okay, so now it's asking me some questions. I love when it does this because I want it to fully understand what I want. So it says, where should the content generator live for this next phase? I want it to be in the main dashboard. Which AI provider do you want to plan around for V1 of generation? Let's use Anthropic because it's really good for like copywriting. It asks which client database should content generator use as the source of truth? It's going to be the CRM clients. What should V1 generate first? Idea batches, sure. So we're going to go from like total V1 to hopefully final version here in the next little bit. So now as you can see, it's literally writing out an entire plan. I like when it gives it in phases so I can be like, okay, let's take this step by step. Because if I wanted, I could just say, okay, implement phase 1, implement phase 2, and it'll just do it. Let's make sure that we fully understand what it's saying and then it makes sense. So for phase 0, it's asking to commit or save the current stuff that I've already built, which totally makes sense. Confirm the local bid test migrations are applied. Add a new dashboard for content generator. Yep. Do not merge the separate code app. Yep, that's right. Without reading all this, I'm just going to tell it to implement phase 0. And now we just wait. I like to take the time while it's working to just kind of like doze off and take a little nap, but I don't think this one will take very long. So as you can see currently on my dashboard, I have these. Oh, look, it just added content generator. See like how cool it created an icon, all this stuff? I didn't even do anything and it created this and it added it right here, content generator. So it does all the spacing, like it knows the user interface really well and it knows exactly how to do it, which I love. You can see it's just writing code right now. I don't even know what it's doing. I can look, but to me, it's all gibberish. Like I don't understand it. So it puts it in like normal words right here. But if I were to click on this right now, it's going to just break. It's like can't be found because it's still building it. While this is loading, I'm going to show you another really cool piece of software that you can get. It's called Visual Studio Code, VS Code. It's completely free. If you download it, what you can do is you can actually open up your project. And let's just say for this one, I'm going to do my username and password, which is just test. So we're here. I can literally, I'll show you, if I click this button up here, I can open up a terminal window. And on terminal, I typed in Codex. I did this earlier, but if you type in Codex, it'll actually launch Codex in your terminal. Now, to be able to do this, you have to download Codex into your terminal, which isn't that hard. You have to download a piece of software called Homebrew. This is the easiest. This one right here, brew.sh. You download it. You just literally take this and you paste it into your terminal. If you're not sure what that is, go to terminal, you paste it in here, you hit next, it'll download it onto your computer. And then what you do is you open up the Homebrew and you literally, right here, you do this exact thing. You do the $, you copy this, install, and then you do Codex. And then it'll literally put Codex in your terminal. So in this example, now that Codex is in my terminal, I can actually open terminal in this VS Code, and basically I can have the link open, but at the same time I can tell it to make changes like, oh, change content generator to X. So I can look at it and make changes at the exact same time, which I'll show you here in a moment. See, I like kind of go do other things. I come back, you can see it's been working for 4 minutes. 127 lines of code have been written. It's pretty much done. It's just restarting the local host on port 3000, and it's gonna just check and make sure it works. You can see, look at my usage. It's definitely coming down in the 5-hour limit at 79% out of 100. This is for the $100 a month plan, by the way. You can see in what I built so far, I already have 11,448 lines of code that it actually wrote for me. One thing I had to do is I told it at the beginning of this project, I said, hey, anytime you're doing anything, basically write an additional line of like code to just log everything you do. So if there's any bugs in the future, we know how to fix them. I didn't know to do this, but somebody I was talking to that knows how to code, it's been doing it for like 5 years, said they do that. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that too. And so just a second ago, it was saying that it was writing on an implementation log. That's what I'm talking about. It's all automatic. Like I don't have to do anything. Okay, so you can see it says implemented phase 0 and committed it. Committed what I did, which is saving. Added content generator. Let's see what happens if I click on it. Okay, cool. It created all this, CRM clients. So it hasn't really done anything. It just kind of like built the page. Now I can say, what's next in phase 1? And I'm gonna change it to plan mode. What's next in phase 1? Okay, I know if I lay back too long, I'm totally gonna fall asleep. Okay, phase 1A, it says. Build the first real version of this. It doesn't generate AI ideas yet. It creates the database, client content profile, seeded creative libraries, and dashboard UI that Claude will use in the next phase. I'm going to tell it to look inside of Supabase to see if there's anything like this already, since I kind of built something similar. And that's what's cool. You can literally ask it to do things. So I'm going to say, check Supabase to see if any of these schemas or databases are already there, since I built this similar thing in a different project, but in the same project in Supabase. And I'm not going to make it planning, because for it to do things, it has to be out of plan mode. It loves to troubleshoot itself. So you can see like the first read-only check is hanging in the sandbox, which usually means the network call is blocked. I have no idea what any of that means. I'm rerunning the same check with network approval in a short timeout, so it can't sit there indefinitely. I have no idea what that means, but it's troubleshooting. It's figuring out a way, which is really cool. So you can see that it did find a lot of this stuff in the old studio tables that I built. And the cool thing is I'm checking their columns and samples now, so we know whether we can reuse them directly or need to migrate them into a cleaner content schema. Schema is kind of like, I think, like a table with new information. Not table, it's like a group of new tables with more information. Like I have a schema just for the scheduler as an example. So it says I checked Supabase, good instinct, yes, a lot of this information already exists. It says there's no content schema yet, existing schemas are public CRM and scheduler. I also confirmed. To keep it organized, let's just migrate everything over to a new schema called content. All right, so copied it over. Honestly, I'm super tired and I need to take a little nap. 8 hours left on this flight. Take a little nap, see what happens. All right, took a little nap, but let's finish this. Okay, so the last thing that we did is we migrated over the schema. And so now we honestly just have to have it implement the next phase. So implement. So now it's building the whole back end system and the user interface where we can actually create the content ideas, because right now it's basically blank. Like there's no buttons that you can click. Thanks. There's no buttons you can click, so this is going to do it right now. It's building it out. As you can see, it has 120, 130 lines of code, and it's just going to keep going. So you know, as soon as there's the implementation log, it means that it finished. It's just writing all the little things that it did, so then it's good for bugs later. But once this is done, we'll check it out. If it seems stuck here, because right now it hasn't done anything for a few minutes, I think it might be stuck. I might stop it and just tell it to like complete and finish. Give it a little more time to see, and then let's check it out. Yeah, see, it just did something, so it is still going. You can see while it's loading, I can go over here and I can see that it did something, but it says unable to load. And even if I refresh it, it's not working. So it's going to notice that for sure, and it's going to make sure it works before it tells me it's done. This is why I work so hard for my wife to be in business class. Look at this. She's just enjoying. Like, how cute is that? That's exactly why I work so hard. Okay, so one thing that happened here is it says the production build passed, but it says because Supabase still has an exposed content. So that means that Supabase, which is the database, is not currently allowing it to access this schema. So that's why it's having this error. So I actually have to go into Supabase. There's some things you can do manually. So I'm gonna go in here and I actually have to go to project settings. Then we're gonna go to data API settings and then expose schemas. So you see it says 4 of 6, we have to expose content and then we hit save. Super important, whenever it creates a new schema, it has to be exposed for it to actually gather that data through the API. So like if I refresh this, look at the difference, now it works. Okay, so this is cool. So what it built so far is I can click on a client, and then when I click on a client, it has client profile questions because it has to know about the client to be able to create content ideas. And then it's like, hey, do you want to create a new batch of videos? We have top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. I had it set this, the output. So the output, it has filming brief, full script, bullet point, or conversational Q&A. I don't want it to be like, oh, I do full script and then all of them are like that. I want to kind of be able to split it up. So I need to figure out the best way to have the user interface actually allow it to split it up. So it's still completing, but I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. Okay, so now it completed this. Now we're gonna tell it what we want next. So let's refresh this. This is really fun. Okay, so we have the client profile. We're gonna have to update this a little bit. But like I said, I want to change this UI when it comes to the how many it's gonna output and what type. So let me tell it. Okay, so this is really good. A couple changes I want to make. The first change I want to make is where it has the new batch and the output, it gives the number of top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel videos that want to be output. And then it has the output type. But I don't want all of the videos to have that specific output type. How can we update the UI to be able to have maybe, let's say if we're outputting 15 videos, we can choose which ones or how many are filming brief, how many are top of funnel, scripted, etc. How can we update that? So I literally just say it to the codex here, hit send. Yes, this makes sense. Right now the UI is too blunt. It says exactly, I'll update to a batch mix builder, the clean version. Then the UI shows, this lets you say things like, I want 5 middle funnel filming briefs. I want 3. Awesome. So it gave this whole recommendation on what to do. I'm just going to say, let's do it. Usually this SQL thing means that I have to do something, but I'm about to find out. So as soon as it starts doing something, it creates an entire progress up here. So it's like, okay, now it's going to start this, and it's going to run through this progress, which is really cool. While this is going, I'm going to show you how to use this VS Code to be able to make changes like on the fly. So let's just close it out so you can see. So all you do is you open VS Code, you go to File, and then in your case, you're just going to go Open Folder. And you're going to go to your folder that you're working on. Open it up. If this doesn't load as a browser, you could literally just type in up here, do Command-Shift-P, and then type in browser. And then it's going to be Open Integrated Browser, this one. I already have it open. Then you're going to click on this button up here. I already have that open. And you're going to go to Terminal. In Terminal, once you have it downloaded through Homebrew, like I mentioned, you're going to actually just type in Codex. Oh, it's asking if I want to update it. Let's just skip. So we'll hit number 2. Okay, now we're in Codex. So what I'm going to say to it, I can use Whisperflow, which is like an AI tool to be able to talk to it, just like I've been using. I'm going to say, I want you to comprehensively understand everything in this project so I can ask you to make simple UI changes. Go. Perfect. And then I just hit send. Now it's working. The cool thing is you can have this work while you have your codecs working right here. So I have this working and I have the other one working at the same time. And it opens a new chat over here because I'm technically chatting with it right now. At any time when this is going, you can always hit escape to any of the chats and it'll actually just like stop. So right now it's searching through all the project files, and when it means by project files, it's actually right on your desktop or in your folder. All of these folders and things that it actually already created, all this is done. I don't have to do it. I only create these instructions at the beginning. It's creating all of this. And when it does so, then that's what I'm telling it to read. So it's going to take a few minutes to read everything because then it'll understand what I'm trying to build. So if I'm making user interface or UI changes, it's really simple. The reason this went down is because this is working on it. So it took it down. What's so cool is as it's finishing, it's telling me what it's doing, but then it says, I'll open the page to make sure the builder feels right on the actual admin screen. It can see it. It'll like go on the site and then decide if it likes it or not, which is super cool. Okay, now it says it's complete. So let's take a look. Okay, this is cool. So as I change the number of videos here, it'll update this. Okay, got it. So I can change the number of each right here. It'll tell me the mix and then start. It has these random buttons here. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna actually just send this. Remove these buttons. Perfect, let's wait on this. Okay, perfect. It already completed this. It says removed. Let me check. Yeah, they're gone. Okay, sweet. See how simple that is? I can just tell it to make these changes and it does it. So let's see what's next. Obviously, when we choose the number of videos, it's going to pull through there. One thing, it says libraries here, but there's no way for me to actually update these libraries. So we're going to need some kind of area that allows us to update libraries. Libraries are going to be the example videos that it's going to use to be able to create content ideas. I see the libraries area, but there's no button that I can actually click to be able to update the library and make changes in terms of change the current videos that are in the libraries or even add additional ones. So we have to add a button and then a new interface for that. Okay, let's click send that. I'm gonna actually click here speed, and then I can speed this up a little bit. So it's updating this right now. We'll come back in a sec once it's done. Okay, it's almost done. It's been, just did over 1,000 lines of code. And I can see here that there is a manage button. When you click it, it has manage libraries. And it has all these different types of content ideas. I think it's still finishing. Looking at this, I'm kind of thinking that this manage libraries thing and libraries area should probably just be something over here, like libraries, and then it actually brings us to our own page because this is a little bit complicated and it's just small. So let's do that. Instead of the library section being at the bottom right of the page, let's actually just move and create a button at the top right of the page whenever I'm in the content generator that says libraries. And then when you click on that, it'll bring us into the library, and it also lets us change them because now we're creating it to be more full screen rather than just small in the corner at the bottom. So just update that UI change. UI, UX. And if I hit send, what it'll do is it'll queue it. So it'll just send this message as soon as this one's done. Okay, now that it's updated, let's take a look. Okay, so we got rid of libraries down there. Nice. Let's click our libraries. Okay, formats, perfect. Edit. Nice. Okay, this is pretty good. I'm much happier with this. Perfect. Any items that are added into here will automatically get pushed into Supabase, so then it can always reference it in the database. Okay, this looks great. We can't really test these yet because we have to connect it to Anthropic, which is Claude, to be able to use tokens to start testing. We'll do that in a minute. Let's see here. I want to add an ads section. So let's start planning. I want to add an ads section. Right now we have top of funnel, middle of funnel, and or bottom of funnel organic content, but I want to add top of funnel and middle of funnel video ad content ideas. So top of funnel, we have follower ads, which are made to bring in people to follow the page. Middle of funnel are going to make people, basically we have middle of funnel DM ads where somebody actually DMs a certain keyword. Do you have information from the instructions to implement something? Let's plan it out. Should have it already in the instructions because I spoke to ChatGPT or Claude at the beginning when I started working on this about it. So let's take a look. It's asking where should the new ads workflow live inside the content generator. I like the ads tab. Let's try that out. For middle of funnel DM ads, where should the DM keyword be set? This would be per idea. Should ads get their own editable library inputs now? I got some chocolate on my shirt, hoping it'll come out. Babe, do you think chocolate will come out of my shirt? It'll come out, right? Chocolate doesn't stain. What should each generated ad idea contain in this phase? Ad brief plus script recommended, yes. Since DM keywords are per idea, how should those keywords be created? Let's do AI suggest.
Would you like to sir?
Yes, please. Very much.
Maybe I can get some.
Yeah.
Super elegant, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm sure.
Okay, I'm eating, but I'm gonna go ahead and implement this plan that it created. So I literally just click implement plan, and now it'll just start going.
She slept for like 6 hours.
Okay, so it says it's complete. Now I'm gonna go over here and click on this, and it says Supabase is missing the content generate content schema migration. So it probably needs us to do something. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy this error and paste it into here. I see this error. And now it's gonna tell me what I need to do next. Okay, so what it wants me to do, this is what I was talking about earlier. It wants me to take this SQL file. So you click on this, you can go ahead and click here, open an editor, and I basically just need to Command A, Command C, and copy this. And then I need to go to Supabase, and I need to go over here to SQL editor, create a new tab, paste it, and then hit run. Once it runs, it's basically creating information in the Supabase database. So now that it's run, I could say, okay, I ran it. And now, if we go to the website, let's try to refresh here. Boom, now it's already updated and fixed. So I just needed that update in Supabase. So let's take a look. So ads, okay. So under libraries, we're gonna have to update these ads and add different examples into here. So now I need to spend a little bit of time on really creating examples, because if I don't create good examples and data, then it's not going to create good scripts and content ideas for the clients. So let me start working on this. So as I'm going through this, one of the UI changes I definitely want to make is we have organic, ads, and libraries. But in organic, we have like the content profile or the information for the client. And then ads, it says like, oh, how many do you want to create in the recent ads batch? I want to make the organic look the same as this. And then I want a separate tab for the content profile. So let's just tell it what we want. In the content generator, I want there to be an additional tab called content profile, and that tab have all the information about this client specifically, rather than having it all in the organic area. And then I want the organic tab to match and mirror what we have in the ads, but specifically for the organic. So then when you click on organic, you don't just have a bunch of client profile questions, you actually have the same UI as the ad section, but for organic. I only have 25 minutes left in this flight. I got pretty far, I would say. I definitely built out, so we built out this whole content generator. It's pretty much done. I just have to add the ads into the library, but we have all of those other formats in the library. And we have the financials that's working, CRM that's working, calendar that's working, everything else is good. We're just updating some UI stuff, and then we're gonna add more examples for the ad side. But I'm feeling pretty good about this, especially for sleeping quite a bit of the flight. I'm just gonna continue to work on this and build this. If you like these kinds of videos, just let me know. This was fun to make, something more chill, not super scripted in any way, very raw, and me just building something. Like I said, I'm brand new to building these kinds of dashboards or these kinds of software, but there's still a lot to learn, but I feel like this will be super valuable in this business and any other businesses that I work on. And I hope it's valuable for you to be able to really use software to be able to automate your business in some kind of way. And as you can see, it's not that hard to just tell Codex what you want to do. And it costs like $100 a month to subscribe to this. You can see from all this, my usage is still really high. So I would say it's very hard to run out of usage unless you're working on this 24/7. If so, you can just pay a little bit more per month. I think if you pay $200 a month, you get way more. But hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.